A Democratic lawmaker is suing to remove President Trump's name from the Kennedy Center right here in Washington. It was added in big letters to the center's exterior last week after a vote from the Board of Trustees. Ohio Congresswoman Joyce Beatty is an ex officio trustee, and she says that vote went beyond the board's authority as given by Congress. And she's my source tonight, along with her attorney, Norm Eisen, who is bringing this case as the founder of Democracy Defenders Action. Great to see you both. All right, Congresswoman, so you say in this lawsuit that the vote and the addition of Trump's name to the outside of the building were, quote, scenes more reminiscent of authoritarian regimes than the American Republic. You may feel that way, but how did this break the law?
Well, it breaks the law because it was by statute put into the congressional statute that only the Congress would be able to do a name change. In the buildings shortly after John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963, in 1964, it was named after him. It is the only living memorial dedicated to him. And it is very clear that the board did not have the authority to do what they did. And so that makes it illegal. It's quite that simple. This administration cannot, just because they want to put Donald Trump's name on a building. So what's next? The Lincoln Memorial? I mean, it's just not legal, and it's simple. We have it in the statute. It's in the congressional statutes, clearly defining how you have to go about a name change.
Well, and we know that President Trump likes to put his name on things, right? This is just the one
Yes, he
example
does.
of many recent examples. But the law says here that no additional memorial shall be designated. And the center spokesperson says, quote, the memorial is not impacted at all. So, Norm, does that give the board an opening to add Trump's name to the center as a whole?
Absolutely not. The statute is very clear. And Pam, all you have to do is look at that picture when they say the memorial is not impacted at all, and they've put Donald Trump's name in giant letters on the front of the memorial. This is the reason this kind of illegal contempt for the law, self-serving Donald Trump behavior at the expense of the rule of law. It's the reason that courts have struck down his actions hundreds of times. And we are confident here that this is a grossly illegal action. It's disrespectful to the memory of our slain President Kennedy, his family, but to all Americans who treasure that memory, and to the idea, the congressional purpose, that this is supposed to be a nonpartisan arts center, a crown jewel for the country. So for all those reasons, this is grossly illegal.
Congressman Trump and his allies, as you well know, argue that he was able to save and improve the Kennedy Center with needed upgrades and new programming. Do you believe he deserves any credit for any of that, name change aside?
I don't think name changing has anything to do with the things that his team, board members, and staff there say they identified. But you have to also realize he was the president before and handpicked and appointed people to the board. So why didn't they see any of those things 4 years ago? I think he got in his mind, he wanted his name on the building, and they made all of these changes. It's no different than what he did with the East Wing and the Rose Garden at the White House. Again, things that he should not have done. So I think this is why what he is using to make the public think that it's okay. And I'm not taking anything away from if there were improvements, structural things that needed to happen, but that does not constitute one to then put their name on the John F. Kennedy Center. It's just that simple. It's a disgrace and it's illegal.
And Norm, the lawsuit names several Trump allies on the board, but also others, including the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, who has the same ex officio status as Congresswoman Beatty. So why he's not on there? Why sue him too?
Pam, the idea here is to make sure that we have complete relief So we've named the president. He's appointed himself as the head of the Kennedy Center. His allies who are on the board, the trustees he's appointed, and also the Kennedy Center itself, so that everybody who needs to be in court is there. So the judge has the power to say, guys and gals, this is illegal. Congress has been very plain. And, you know, whenever the rule of law is assaulted, that is a serious matter for the Constitution. And all of those individuals are part of getting the relief here of taking that name off of the memorial. It could not be more simple in the law.
All right, Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, Norm Eisen, thank you both. Now I want to bring in former federal prosecutor Gene Rossi to talk more about this. Okay, Gene,
Sure.
I'm just trying to channel people watching this right now, and they may say, why should I care about a name change on a building in Washington? What do you say to them?
Well, in November of 1963, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. He is buried at Arlington National Cemetery. That is on one end of Arlington Memorial Bridge. Congress specifically put at the other end of that bridge the Kennedy Center, which is a living memorial to John F. Kennedy. So when Donald Trump puts his name on the living memorial, he is desecrating the name of John F. Kennedy. And what really shocks me is that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. voted to put Donald Trump's name on the living memorial of his uncle. Why does that shock me? I can't tell you how poorly it looks in the eyes of people who love John F. Kennedy. And it's a disgrace that Donald Trump, as Mr. Eisen just said, Donald Trump has violated the law by putting his name on this.
So you think the Board of Trustees broke the law here?
As Norm said, and he wrote a brilliant complaint, he clearly broke the law. It's not a close call. And not get into the weeds, if it gets to a jury, which I don't think it will, it could be decided on a motion for summary judgment. It's that clear, where a judge decides there's no dispute about the facts. I'm just going to apply the law to the undisputed facts, and they broke the law, and it should be taken down. So what's going to happen is, last point I want to make, any Democrat who takes the oath of office in 2029, the first executive order should be to remove his name from the Kennedy Center, from the Institute of Peace. Where's it going to end? Is he going to have the Trump RFK football stadium? Is he going to have the Trump Martin Luther King statue? The Trump Lincoln Memorial? Where's it going to stop? They talk about authoritarian regimes. I'm reminded of Benito Mussolini. I'm Italian. He did the same thing. Crazy people do crazy things, and this is a crazy thing for him to do.
Well, I remember my mom used to know him back in the day and said he told her, this was decades ago, that he wanted his name on every building in the world. So he is carrying out.
Including a hotel in Moscow. That's what he really wants.
But can I just quickly ask you
Sure.
about the defendants? Because you have Pam Bondi, we were just talking about Mike Johnson as well. I mean, would that complicate the case, all these other people in the lawsuit?
No, Norm's right. You have to include as many people as possible, because what they're doing is they're trying to get an injunction against all the individuals involved. So if you don't list Mike Johnson, John Thune, if they're not in the lawsuit, they could try to do something outside the statute to get around what's happening in this lawsuit. So that's why you name everybody.
All right, Gene Rossi, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great
Award is tied for you.
Okay, I love it. Very festive.
Not bad.